The United States is the most powerful empire in the world, unmatched in its ability to enforce its will globally. Since the 1890s, it has maintained to be the world's largest economy, consistently growing each decade for the past 150 years. With one of the longest-running governments, the U.S., which comprises only 5% of the global population, controls about 30% of the world's wealth and produces 20% of its manufacturing. While various factors contribute to the U.S.'s exceptional global influence, the main reason and the foundation of American power is the incredibly advantageous geography and geology of the North American continent for building a civilization. To begin with, one of the primary geographic reasons for America's global power is the Mississippi River and its vast surrounding basin. This region, located between the Rocky Mountains in the west and the Appalachian Mountains in the east, includes interconnected rivers like the Illinois, Ohio, Tennessee, Red, Arkansas, and Missouri. Most tributaries feeding this extensive system, covering 1/3 of the continent, start at relatively low elevations. This means that most of the basin's rivers are calm and obstacle-free, making them easily navigable for thousands of years without advanced technology or expensive infrastructure. The key point about the Mississippi River is that it's the longest navigable river in the world. From the Gulf of Mexico, boats can travel over 1,900 miles into the North American interior before reaching the river's only natural waterfall at the twin cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Large navigable rivers are economically valuable because they are cheaper for transportation than land-based infrastructure, which has high setup and maintenance costs. Consequently, shipping by river is much more economical than other methods. Farms and factories along the 1,900 miles of riverbanks from the Gulf of Mexico Delta to Minneapolis-St. Paul can easily export products downstream to the global market. The Mississippi River is part of a larger network of navigable rivers in the Mississippi Basin, allowing inland cities like Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Minneapolis, Chicago, St. Louis, Memphis, and Shreveport to act as oceanic ports, exporting products cheaply to the Gulf of Mexico. Beyond this river system, North America's unique barrier islands form a continuous chain over 2,400 miles around the U.S. Gulf and East Coasts. From Texas's Rio Grande to Chesapeake Bay near Washington, D.C., these islands create protected bays, forming an oceanic river from Brownsville, Texas to Baltimore, Maryland. The Mississippi River Delta connects to this network, allowing goods to be transported cheaply and efficiently across the Gulf and East Coasts. Together, the Mississippi Basin's internal rivers and the external intracoastal waterway provide thousands of miles of navigable waterways. The power of this natural navigation system spans the largest contiguous stretch of arable farmland on the planet, the American Midwest. The western Midwest, in the rain shadow of the Rocky Mountains, is dry and ideal for wheat. The central Midwest is temperate and humid, perfect for corn and soybeans, covering an area more than twice the size of France. This region produces nearly 1/3 of the world's corn and soybeans and over $150 billion in agricultural products annually. This massive farmland overlaps with the world's largest network of navigable rivers, creating an agricultural superpower. The intracoastal waterway serves the transportation needs from Texas to Maryland, while the Columbia and Snake Rivers support the Pacific Northwest, and the San Francisco Bay and Sacramento River aid California's Central Valley. Most of America's agricultural regions are within 240 kilometers of a navigable waterway to the ocean. This allows food from rural areas to be easily and cheaply transported to urban centers, a feat unmatched by any other continent on Earth. North America's geographic advantages for maritime power and commerce extend beyond rivers. The continent's coastline has many natural indentations, creating some of the world's greatest deep-water harbors. For a harbor to be a good port, it needs deep shipping passages, ample resources in the hinterland, and extensive coastal frontage. The top 3 natural harbors with these features are all in the U.S.: Chesapeake Bay, San Francisco Bay, and Puget Sound. Additionally, modern civil engineering in the mid-20th century made the Great Lakes an enormous internal navigable waterway. Historically, rapids like Niagara Falls and winter freezes made the Great Lakes unnavigable. However, a series of locks and canals completed in the late 1950s by the US and Canada changed that. Now, the Great Lakes complement the Mississippi Basin and intracoastal waterway, expanding the network of cities that benefit from this extensive system. The Mississippi River is so crucial to the U.S. that in 1963, the Army Corps of Engineers built the $2 billion Old River Control Structure in Vidalia to regulate its flow and prevent it from changing course. Can you think of other key infrastructure projects that have played a vital role in securing America's future? Share your thoughts and examples in the comments below. But there's more to America's strategic advantage than just infrastructure and waterways. The United States benefits greatly from its strategic location. Sandwiched between Canada and Mexico and flanked by vast oceans on both sides, it is challenging for invading militaries to cross these natural barriers. For instance, in 1940, Adolf Hitler had to cancel the invasion of England across the 20-mile-wide English Channel due to logistical difficulties. In comparison, the shortest distance between the US and Europe is nearly 4,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean, with an even greater distance separating the US from Asia across the Pacific. This is why, despite playing a significant role in World War II, there was no major attack on US soil other than Pearl Harbor. This allowed the US to continue running its factories and ship ammunition to the world. While Europe was rebuilding itself after the war's destruction, the US had a significant advantage. Its factories and farmland were intact, positioning it to lead in the post-war economic boom. Do you have any interesting facts on how America benefited from World War II? Share them with us in the comments. Additionally, the US has peaceful relations with its northern and southern neighbors, which have smaller populations and militaries. With no immediate threats from the east or west, the US faces no nearby rivals, allowing it to focus on other priorities instead of imminent invasions. This geographical and political stability contributes to America's strategic advantage and security. Now, let's say even if a foreign power overcame the most advanced navy in history and transported millions of troops across the ocean to North America, it wouldn't matter. The continent has all the resources needed for modern civilization and militaries deep within it. This geological wealth is a key factor in the power of the modern United States. What's impressive about the U.S. geology is how challenging is the U.S. to conquer, largely due to its diverse terrains like deserts, swamps, and mountains. The Appalachian Mountains in the east, the Rocky Mountains in the west, and the Great Lakes in the northeast create natural barriers to invasion. While the flatter southern border areas might seem vulnerable, the U.S. compensates with large numbers of troops stationed in California and Texas. Combined with challenging terrains, this strategic placement of military forces ensures that any potential invasion would face significant obstacles and defenses. Moreover, even in case of an invasion, the United States has enough internal resources to feed its people, produce weapons and ammunition, and support heavy industries, all thanks to its well-connected interiors, strong transportation, and self-reliance. In conclusion, America's geography has given it unparalleled advantages in transportation, agriculture, and security. These factors have combined to create the most powerful nation in history. What do you think? Are there other geographical advantages we've missed? Let us know in the comments.